Hi, this is my fourth of 5 videos on Aeneid Book 2 for the OCR GCSE Latin exam in 2022. In this passage we're going to look at lines 725 to 740 where Anchises spots the Greeks advancing through Troy. So it adds suspense to Aeneas and Anchises fleeing Troy. Playlist linked below. Okay. Ferimor per opaca locorum, et me, quam dudum non ulla injecta movebant, tela neque adverso glamourati examine grae, nunc omnes terentauroi, sonus excitat omnis, suspensum et pariter comitque honoritque timentem. Iamque propinquabam portis omnemque videbar, evasisse viam, subito concreber ad auris visus ad esse peditum sonitus, genitorque per umbram prospiciens, nate exclamat, fuge nate, propinquant, ardentis clipeos atque aera micantia cerno. Hic mihi nescio quod trepido male numen amicum confusa meriquit mentem, namque avia cursu dum sequor et nota excedo region viarum, eu misero coniunx fato mi repta creusa, substitit, eravitne via seu lassa resedit. So now let's have a look at how this passage fits together with our line-by-line translations before analysing. We pass on amid the shadows, and I, who recently no shower of missiles could move, nor any Greeks thronging in opposing mass, now I am frightened by every breeze and startled by every sound, tremulous as I am and fearing alike for my companion and my burden. And we can see, if we look closely, we've got locorum, like the places and the shadows. Opaca is like opaque, so the idea that you can't see through it, that's where we get the shading, the darkness. Okay. Non nulla injecta, so not nothing, having been thrown. Moebant, was I disturbed? So we can see verb endings that you're familiar with from the language practice. Tela, of course, is spears, which we're used to already. Nunc omnes, now everything, now every breeze, aurai. Sonus, sounds, again like sonic in English. Suspensum, so fear or suspense. A lot of the words are linked to root words in English, and knowing these will help you pinpoint your translations with the Latin. Okay, next little chunk then. And now I was nearing the gates and thought I had accomplished all my journey, when suddenly, crowding on my ears, seemed to come a tramp of feet. And peering through the gloom, my father cries, my son, flee, they draw near. I see their glowing shields and glittering brass. Again, if we look closely, iamque, we know is iam now, nearing the gates, portis, which you've revised for the vocab on language paper, sonitus, genitor, so sound and father, umbram, meaning shade or shadow, is actually where we get the word umbrella from, like shade or shadow. Nate is a child, and remember, natus or nata, son or daughter. Virgil uses these words, they're part of his idiolect. He always uses natus or nata, partly because they fit the meter. So we've got nate, fuge nate, son, flee son. Propinquant, they approach. Apropinquo, you've already revised for the language paper. Okay, cerno, I discern, I see. So there are root words that can help us with this, and there's vocabulary that you've looked at for the language paper. Next little bit. At this, in my alarm, some wicked power stole my distracted wits, for while I plunge down byways and leave the course of the streets, I know, alas, my wife Creusa was snatched from me by an unhappy fate. Did she halt? Did she stray from the path or sit down in exhaustion? So again, if we look up male numen, some wicked power, some wicked spirit, confusam, distracted or confused me, sequor, I follow, which we've seen already for the language paper. Heu is alas or oh no, and the exclamation point gives you that. Coniunx and creusa, wife and creusa are linked together, okay, and substitit, did she halt, resedit, did she sit down, like sedeo, I sit. So some language vocab you know and have revised, and some you can get from root words. When we look at the effects, we have non nulla, which is litote, so double negative, not no, not no arrows having been thrown, yektatela. Okay, so emphasising how many arrows, non nulla, not a few, not none. We've got nunc and yamque at the beginning of lines, so now and now for emphasis. We've got suspensum, this idea of suspense or fear, and the repetition of honorique, yamque, omnemque, which is called homoiteluton, so the same endings, which give the effect of making the sound of the passage more fluid. We have also subito, or suddenly, which comes right after a caesura. And in blue you can see we've got opaca and umbram, so a semantic field of darkness, of shade. We've also got quite a complicated construction in this line in bold. Prospiciens nate exclamat, fuge nate propinquant, it's quite fractured. And male numen feeds back in to that semantic field of darkness, of shades, destruction. Heu misero conjunx Creusa. So the kind of lamentation at the beginning and end for Creusa, miserable wife Creusa, and her name comes at the end, which again puts end line emphasis because the spondees, harsh, Creusa, fall at the end. We then have good old-fashioned rhetorical questions, substitit and recedit. Did she do this? Did she do that? Aeneas is very concerned about Creusa. So altogether, we have a number of effects in this scene. We have litotes, non nulla, not few or not no, to add emphasis to the number of arrows Aeneas used to face. We've got fronting of nunc and yamque to add pace to the passage. We've got homoiteluton, honorique, omnemque, yamque, to make the pace even faster and more fluid. Comitque could be added to that. We've got caesura, that pause before subito, which acts as a dramatic pause in the narrative. And remember, Aeneas is narrating this passage to Dido to win her affection. In the blue, we've got a semantic field of shade, shadows. We've got the fractured line, which reports what Anchises, Aeneas' father, has said to him, because he's panicking, he's telling Aeneas to flee. And the imperatives, the imperatives fuge and the vocative nate, show that he's taking control, telling Aeneas what to do, whereas elsewhere we've seen Aeneas doing that. So you can use your grammar vocab to help you analyse the passage too. We've got exclamation with heu, which is again at the front. We've got a spondee on Creusa, because she comes at the end of the line, emphasising her importance. And it rounds off with rhetorical questions to show that, contrary to what a lot of people say about Aeneas, he does care about Creusa, and he's said to have lost her. So everything in bold and everything in blue would have to be noted in a GCSE verse paper answer. Not all the detail, but making sure you're getting quotes and that you're using key vocabulary and explaining it effectively. I'll pop up the English now so you can compare, but don't forget to pause the video, practice translating and practice analysing. There are more videos to come. Thanks folks!